Just saying I'm published, that's a very blanket statement.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't mean anything. Like, you could be in like the basic ones. Like, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Anyone, that's all I'm going to say is anyone can create a magazine.
We're going to leave it at that. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that for sure. Welcome back to another episode of ShotNChop. I am your host, Josh Cannon, and today we are about to chop it up. All right, you all, welcome back to another episode of the ShotNChop podcast, hosted by the one and only Josh Cannon with Candid Productions. 2 N's, not one. I don't shoot Canon, I shoot Sony. All right, so we have a special guest in the building today, Miss Jas Nicole. We actually just wrapped up a really dope photo shoot, so we are going to welcome her to the building. Jasmine, what's up?
Hi, guys. It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for coming on the show and doing the photo shoot. So we've been working today. I think we got a lot accomplished, and now we are sitting here talking to you all about a lot of different stuff. So we have a very interesting topic today that I just found out of what it was that she informed me about. So we're going to let you all, I guess, in on that conversation and cover our bases on that, I guess. So how would you describe yourself as a model? What do you like to shoot? Where are you from? All of that good stuff to let people know who you are.
Okay, so first things first. Hi, everyone. I have been modeling for about 5 years now. I started in 2019. I want to say my favorite type of modeling is anything creative. Like, I like to put together backgrounds in different colors and do crazy makeup. Like, I don't know. I guess that would be editorial. So creative editorial. And that she definitely did today, because we started with a blank canvas of just a backdrop. We actually did spend some time working on the wardrobe, so I'm proud of the content that we came out with that. But I definitely appreciate your creativity when it comes to your set design. So if y'all need a set designer, definitely hit her up, because she's going to get y'all straight. Hit me up, Jas Nicole Creative Design. I'm just
gang,
kidding.
gang, Jas Nicole Design.
So aside from shooting, like one of my main loves in modeling is runway. And there's different types of runway, mainly straight and personality. I know a lot of people, or a lot of the models that I work with, tend to lean more towards personality. I don't know. It's just something about the straight that I like a little bit more. I don't know. I think it just suits my personality and just my aesthetic a little bit more.
I definitely see that, because I think that's how I actually found you, like at a fashion show, or saw you on a fashion show or something like that, and hit you up, asked if you wanted to shoot, and we just worked it out from there. But I think both styles are very prominent. The whole ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta started to become more popular.
Bippity-boppity-boo.
Right. Thanks to, like, RuPaul and all those people. But I think both are cool. I just think it, like you said, it just fits your personality better. So, like, if you're more of a straightforward, more etiquette, more curtsy, more tall posture person, then like that traditional straight down the runway works best for you. That's cool. If you like to be the center of attention and the pow, boom, pow, and the death drops,
like all the spins and the turns and the clashes. Stuff. Although I do love working on personality because it is fun. I don't know. I just relate more with straight. But I don't knock personality. If you're a personality girly, you better get it.
Because I'll eat you up with the Vogue, bow,
and not everybody can, really sell it. So if you got it, girl, flaunt it.
And that's what modeling all is about, is just being able to sell it, being able to really express yourselves and not just be dead. With traditional, though, I think a lot of people get lost with that, because the goal for traditional isn't the model, it's to sell the clothes that the model is wearing.
Yeah.
And that's where people mix up the two. So traditional and personal, I guess personality, that's what you were talking about.
Well, straight and personality.
Got it.
So I'm in 2 smaller agencies. They're local. Persuasion Models, Persuasion Models. And then I am also in a agency that's up near Reston, kind of in the DC area, which is called AF Talent Management. And it's literally polar opposites, because Persuasion is more urban and personality based, and AFTM is completely industry standard. So it's literally like a complete 180 when it comes to like what you learn. Modeling is modeling at the end of the day, but there is definitely some drastic differences.
I agree. And both are both are, like we said with the whole walking style, both are cool and all of that. If you were to, I guess, talk about how you started getting signed with an agency, how did you get those deals?
Really, it starts out with every new model, just building your Instagram and building a portfolio. So reaching out to photographers or even, taking up photographers that reach out to you. But make sure you do your research, especially if you're just starting out, because these people be crazy out here.
Heavy on the doing research.
Please do your research, because I've definitely shot with a crazy kind of photographer too. And I'm protective of myself. So I usually bring somebody with me, but just do your research when it comes to stuff like that,
Yeah, for sure. Because just because their work is good does not mean that their personality is good.
That does not mean it makes them a good person, because they can have beautiful work and be a terrible person inside.
And hey, check this out. Same thing with models. Just because they cute does not mean they know how to model. And that's another thing I preach to photographers. That like, just because you see a girl look cute on Instagram, she got a lot of followers and stuff. If she doesn't really know what she's doing and you're dragging the whole shoot along, or either she's just like all cutesy and like energetic and charismatic. Wow, I can't talk to that. Charismatic on Instagram. And then she gets to your studio and she's just like, my name is Susie. Hey, Susie, how you doing? It's great to shoot with you. Yeah. And then this is all you hear. Hold on.
Not the crickets.
Let it run a little bit longer. Hold on. You felt how awkward that was? That's exactly what it's like. And it's just like, I'm not saying you have to be a bubbly, super energetic person all the time, but
give a little bit of personality, something.
Yeah.
Don't be putting people to sleep.
And then just do your research on models as well, because just because they're cute does not mean they know how to model. So I literally look at all of that stuff before I even decide to reach out to somebody or somebody reaches out to me. What is your engagement looking like? Not necessarily about the followers, but because you got 10,000 followers that you bought. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have 10,000 people engaging in your work.
Yeah.
Because that is where it gets into, I guess, something we can talk about, collabs and stuff. That's what's going to get you attention in their new audience, being able to use their reach to build your platform and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So like on my page, I think I do pretty good with reach and engagement. Like people are always engaging because I'm always up there. But like if you don't have that, then the followers doesn't matter. The likes doesn't matter. And yeah, it just starts to hinder whether it's a collab or a paid shoot.
And honestly, if you have a page with all of those like ghost followers up there, it's going to eventually start to put you in like, I call it Instagram jail, because it's not going to push the algorithm isn't going to push your content to your viewers. So it's just like, you need to interact like it's social media.
Indeed.
And I even have a problem with that sometimes, because I'm a very introverted person. Like I like to be in my room. I like to be quiet.
Yeah, me too.
Really
I don't like people
a lot.
I don't like people at all.
But
I'm usually always at my house.
Me too.
But to work and back to the house.
Me too. It's either I'm at home, work, or I'm somewhere with my boyfriend in the house.
And guess what? That's okay. And as long as you are knowing that and you are able to incorporate your personality into your page and just be active. Because like you said, being active on your page, that's the key right there. A lot of people wonder, like, why is nobody finding me? Why am I not getting any bookings? Or why is nobody paying me attention? Because when you post, you don't interact with anybody, or you're not building connections with people on social media. And that's usually where people flatline.
And just remember, like, when you're commenting or when other people are commenting on your stuff, you have to reciprocate, because that's what keeps the engagement going. If you have a steady flow of people that are commenting on your stuff, but you never respond, that's going to taper off after a while, because nobody wants to feel like their support is one-sided, Yep. So just support and give support where it's due.
That's true. How did you get into modeling? So I know we talked about the agency, but like, how did you actually start modeling altogether?
So growing up, I was always told by people like, oh, you look like you could model. Have you ever thought about it? And back then I really didn't, because I was very insecure back then. I didn't really think I looked, I'm not going to say I didn't think I looked good, but I didn't think I looked like a model. So I ended up in college with a friend who used to model. We're not friends anymore, but I had an associate who used to model, and she kind of got me into it. Just like with little mini photo shoots we did around campus, and, just kind of stuff that you could put in your portfolio even. But for the most part, I just kind of took photos of myself, really. That's where a lot of people kind of get confused. You can still take pictures of yourself and they don't have to be like studio quality for them to like count, you know? It's practice is practice as long as you're in front of the camera. That's what I've learned.
Yep, repetition.
So that's
that gets
where
you more comfortable.
That's where I got my start. I just kind of like taking pictures, and then I started after I left that school, just kind of kept going. And then that's when about a year later is when Persuasion reached out to me and asked me to come on and, you know, try out for their team. And I ended up making it in 2020, and I couldn't do it because I was still in school. You know, at first they were just here in Richmond. Now they have a branch in the 757, but they didn't have that back then. Had they had a branch in the 757, I probably could have made it work. But because it was Richmond and I was going to school in North Carolina, it wasn't feasible for me to like drive back and forth every week for all the practices. It was just a lot.
Yeah, I don't see how models do that. Like, I'll see models, they'll live in Virginia, go to practice 3 days out the week in DC, drive back home. I'm just like, that's a lot.
That's a lot of driving, because even coming from Richmond, it's still like an hour and a half. Like, and that just depends on where you go in DC.
Yeah, because from here, from my house, it takes about, like you said, it depends. But with DC traffic, Richmond traffic, 95 construction.
And don't be coming from Virginia Beach, because you got Virginia Beach
be
traffic.
Virginia Beach traffic, construction coming from Virginia Beach, construction coming from the 75 altogether, 3 hours, 4 hours. So that's a lot of driving.
From my house alone, it's like almost 4 hours.
To get to DC?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because I live in Portsmouth.
Oh, so you're at the bottom. I thought you were up above me.
Oh, no. I am from the 757, born and raised.
Shout out to the 757.
It's a little ghetto out here, but we love it anyway.
Yeah, so is Richmond. You know, it's a little raunchy sometimes. I got a random question. All right, here we go. Shooting from the hip. I want your first reaction, honest opinion. Do you think that you have to be pretty in order to be a model?
Not necessarily. I think modeling agencies are really looking for individuality and something different. So, like, you can be pretty, but not be model pretty. Like, I don't really know what
I was about to say, what is model
pretty. That was a bad way to say it. You can be a beautiful person, but not be photogenic. So, and that's a big part of modeling. You have to know how to put your face. You kind of have to know how to control your emotions through how you look. So, if you're just a pretty face, that, you know, doesn't really make you a model, I guess.
Yep. Same thing I tell people all the time. What sets you apart from people that are just pretty, people that just are pretty, like take pictures, people that call themselves a model, and actual models and professional models is the art of mastering expression. So you should be able to, your dog got ran over by a car 2 hours before your photo shoot, and then show up to the shoot and serve and give face, and then go back and cry in the car when you go home. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or you could be having the best day of your whole life. You just got proposed to, and the storyline, the mood calls for, I need sassy, I need anger. And then you got to be able to flip the switch. It's almost like being schizophrenic.
It's literally like acting.
It is.
Literally.
It is. It's the same thing. I agree. And just being able to turn it on, turn it off. Because even if you know how to pose, if you have a still face, that literally grinds my gears. Like, the face doesn't change. It's just the same blank, 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 blank stare, blank stare. More blank stares.
Yeah. What I will kind of recommend to newer models to help with that is get into acting. I was told, like, if you get into acting, it can kind of help you run through your emotions in a different way. That could be very useful to, like, you know, your shoots.
Or just practicing in front of your camera on your phone. So use the front face camera, and
your mirror will be your best friend.
Yep. And the reason I say camera, because then you can run it back and review.
Yeah.
So just writing down emotions. So happiness, sadness, do scenarios, and then showcase that only with your expression. And then flip it, show that only with your body language. And then you put it together. And that's how you get better at posing, to where you're not just saying, oh, well, I'm out of poses. You know, that's it. I'm done. I think I'm done for the day.
There's always a little parameter that you should be moving in to kind of keep it natural. Like, it's literally like a box around you that you can kind of like use the different points. That's what, long stories. Like, I'll go into that later.
I call it zones. So like zone 1 from the head to shoulders, zone 2 shoulders to the waist, zone 3 feet to the waist to the feet.
Just making sure everything looks relaxed, because sometimes overdoing it with the poses can make it look kind of, you know, definitely unnatural. But it really just depends on the look that you're going for, because sometimes the unnatural thing is what you need. So it really just depends on what you're shooting, because I know a lot of commercial will do just straight up sitting there, act natural. Like, what would you be doing if you were like sitting by a pool type of thing? And then editorial, they want you leg up in the air with hand on the ground or something like that. Like, that's just the different pros of it. But again, all about being in, the mirror or the camera and being repetitive with it.
Another thing I wanted to talk about with you is your interpretation on how important being published is as a model. So even though, yes, modeling started with runway, modeling clothing, and now it's transitioned into what we have now of it being like a whole style hobby, business venture where it's independent from actual clothing. Do you think publication really make or breaks somebody as a model?
Make or break, absolutely not, but it is helpful. And when I say helpful, I mean like the more you can put in your published work into your portfolio, the better your portfolio looks. So it's more so of, what's the word? Kind of like exposure, but a good type of exposure. I've been published in a couple different magazines, and while it gives you like something to be excited about, it definitely doesn't make or break you as a model, but it does make your portfolio look so much better.
How do you feel when people have published blank, blank, blank in their bio or multi-published blank, blank, blank? Like if a photographer hits you up, say, hey, Jas, I want to do a shoot with you. And you saw somebody that had published and somebody said, hey, Jas, I want to shoot with you. Their work is completely equal. Like, does that published thing in the bio section make any difference to the photographer?
It really doesn't, because a lot of magazines are free to publish in. Like, it might be a small fee maybe for the photographer to pay, but I have never paid anything to be publishing something. So it just, I guess the magazine itself makes more like of a difference. So I want to say the biggest magazine that I was in was Malvi, which is a French magazine.
Yeah, I've been in Malvi a couple of times.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Some of them are harder to get into, but at the end of the day, a lot of the publications, they're very easy to get into.
Yeah, and I think that if you're paying to get into a magazine, that doesn't really count as being published because you paid to be in there.
Yeah.
Whereas if I submit and it's free, most of them are free, then that is more of a hard work. And then take it a step further, a lot of people, photographers, they pay for the front cover too sometimes. Mm-hmm. But if they really like your work, they won't charge you for the front cover. They'll just give you the front cover. I feel like that's more of an accomplishment. So like just saying I'm published, that's a very blanket statement because that doesn't mean anything. Like you could have be in like the basic ones. Like I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Anyone, that's all I'm going to say is anyone can create a magazine.
We're going to leave it at that. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that for sure. But one thing I do want to say about publishing, like specifically Caviar, the platform. Are you on Caviar? You have
Caviar?
Caviar.
Caviar.
Yeah. Kaviy.
Yeah. Isn't it? What? I thought it was Caviar.
I promise you it's Caviar because I'm a founding pro member on Caviar.
Yes. I just have a simple or basic profile, but I'm up there.
Yeah, but one of the cool things about publications is that it pushes you to want to create your best work, especially if you go into it with the intentions of your art being published compared to doing shoots for like just, one-off shoots and stuff. So that it makes you better in that standpoint. And being on Caviar, like there's a lot of the better photographers than you're going to see in your area. You might connect with somebody that's in a different country. And I get a lot of inspiration from their work compared to just the people in my area. I'm trying not to throw shade nobody, y'all. But I promise I'm not. But just
no shade. I'm
just trying to give examples of like, the pros and the cons of being published. Like, yes, it doesn't really matter much to your work. It doesn't really mean much. And at the same time, it can because it can push you to be better as a creative on the model side and the photographer side.
To a lot of agencies, unless you're working with like reputable brands, like the mainstream magazines or like even the brands that they know, like the bigger ones, like the Nikes, Adidas, like big things like that, a lot of the time they're not really going to pay much attention to your work. They're only trying to look at what you can do, which is why when I say publications aren't that important, they're really not. You don't have to be published to be picked up by an agency. That's not what they're looking for.
That's right. That's true. Because agencies, like, it's all about individuality, like we had said earlier. And you having a specific look in that moment, they're just like, oh, I like her for that look. They don't need 5 Jasmines. They need one Jasmine. They need one Sarah, one Bethany, one Susie, one Karen.
And I kind of want to piggyback off of that. Just because you know, submit to an agency and you don't get it doesn't mean that you're not good enough, but they probably already have a model that looks like you.
Exactly.
And if they already have one, they don't need another. So it's nothing personal. It is just a business. You go into this game knowing that you're going to get a couple rejections. So if you don't have thick skin, this is probably not the thing for you.
I was just about to say that because as a model, your whole image is your image. So how you look may be unique and get you some bookings, and it might get you rejected for others. It might have some photographers that love you and really want to work with you, and may not be something that other photographers are into. So like you said, having thick skin, that's very important, because you can't be that model to be like, oh, well, fuck you too then. Like, you don't like me.
Yeah.
The attitude
that will get you blackballed in this industry.
It's blacklisted.
Blacklisted, blackballed, same thing. But
I got the blacklist. It's right here.
And news travels fast, especially in the industry. So you have to go in as respectful as you can, even if you get with a photographer or a coordinator that's just outright rude, and just be professional, because news travels fast.
Yeah, because you stand out as the one that was not rude, even though that photographer, or on the other way around, that model was the one being rude. So you keep your integrity and keep your composure, even in those situations where somebody might not be doing the same thing.
And being professional in those types of spaces gets you more points in the future, because they're like, oh, well, this person was really put through the ringer and they handled it like a champ. Like, that's really good on you at the end of the day. So just keep a professional face on. It's only one day of your life, and you probably won't ever have to see this photographer again. And I've even seen it where photographers will be purposely mean, like in an interview, and book the model for the job just to see how they respond under pressure. So it's a very common thing in this industry. Just make sure you're aware of that and don't take it to heart.
Yeah, some people just getting emotional, crying, being angry, or also how you are showcasing your emotions in your personal life on your social media page. Because the same way people talk, people are also watching your page too before they even reach out to you. So before you even know they exist, they might have already been watching your page for a whole week.
Yeah.
And you talking about fuck him, this and that, all this, or drunk all the time, passed out, all that stuff. Like, nobody wants to see that on your modeling page. Like, not saying you can't have fun.
Yeah, people know you have a life, but there's a limit to what you should post.
Yeah, because then you're gonna be like, oh, that person's a liability. Because I look at all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, she responded like this to that situation. I don't think I want to put myself through that, because then what if we have a disagreement and now you're popping off of me? I don't want to do that. That's unnecessary.
Yeah. I have never personally dealt with a photographer that was really rude and kind of mean, but I have in fashion shows. I'm not going to say which one. I'm not going to say no names, but I have had like some very rude coordinators. So it's just stay professional. It's one day out of your life, maybe 2, depending on what it is.
That was going to transition into my next question. I was going to ask you how you choose the photographers that you choose to work with, whether it's paid work or whether it's just collab work, trade work, whatever you want to call it. Like, what are some things that as a model you look at to choose the photographer that you work with before you even get to know them or anything like that?
So me personally, I like to look at their work itself. I tend to go for their editing style more than anything, because every photographer is going to edit differently. So if I like the way that you edit and I genuinely like your work, then I'm open to collabs. Now, if it's a photographer that I'm not really familiar with and I see that your page is pretty decent, like you have pretty decent work, but I'm not kind of crazy about it, then I will bring in the idea of paid. And I'm not charging like an arm and a leg, like I'm not super big, but my time is valuable, just like yours is. If you really wanted to work with me, then we can knock out a shoot in an hour, just because I've been shooting for so long, you don't really have to give me much direction. So my time is valuable. I just ask that people respect that when I ask for payment, if you reach out to me first. Obviously, I'm going to pay you if I reach out to you first, or if you're okay with a collab, I'll inquire about a collab. But if I really want to work with you, I'll pay you. I have no issue doing that.
I just think that we need to talk about that more. And that's something I'll take as I need to work on too. Just being more upfront about expectations on both ends and like making sure that you are telling the person on the other end, doesn't matter who hits up who, hey, this is how I operate. I do things this way. Would you still like to move forward? And that's not being rude at all. And I think a lot of times where there are so many misunderstandings or arguments or, beef that starts to come out is because like people aren't upfront and we don't communicate that before we even get to the point of taking the photos.
Yeah. Being communication, especially when you're working with a new photographer, is so important, or even a new model, because lots of things can get lost in translation, especially if you're messaging and not, speaking face to face. So just make sure when you're going in, everything has been communicated. It's no issue communicating your boundaries on both ends. It's just you gotta go in with an open mind and know that everybody is out to make the best product possible. So just gotta work with what you're given,
I agree, because when I reached out to you for us to do our shoot together, we had numerous conversations before the photo shoot, putting together an outfit, making sure that both of us like the outfit, putting together the whole concept and the idea. And enough people don't do that to where it's just like they just show up and like, okay, here we are.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
That works only if you're very, very good friends with a photographer. Like you could just go in, okay, what are we doing today? Oh, I'm feeling this, that. But not everybody has that relationship. So you just gotta kind of know who you're working with.
I love a good impromptu shoot. Like the
Love
models
'em.
that I work with all the time, literally my friend Jasmine, she'll hit me up. It'll be like 5:00. She'll text me, hey, I want to shoot today. I'm like, all right, bet. I'll be home in like 30 minutes. And then she pulls up and it's like a whole suitcase. And like, I'm just literally playing dress up. I love playing dress up.
It'd be
It's
like
so fun.
that.
And
You've
then-
seen my closet.
Yeah. That's what we did on the phone. We played dress up
Literally played dress up.
and put it together. And I just feel like, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. Enough photographers don't have creativity to be able to build concepts, to be able to do a successful shoot, which is why things all start to look the same. Do you feel that way? I feel like a lot of like, not bad, not okay, up to the good level photographers, everything's starting to look the same because they don't have that creativity. They're just like, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, everybody's trying to I'm not going to say taking inspiration is wrong from people, because inspiration comes from everywhere. But it's a fine line from taking inspiration and just taking the whole shoot, And it's kind of just, like you said, a rinse and repeat thing, because I keep seeing the same concept. I don't know how many times, and this is no shade to anybody, that bodysuit,
The wet one.
Oh my God,
I'm
I've seen
tired
it
of it, yeah.
so many times, and pictures are beautiful, but different concept.
Some stuff can be ran into the ground, and I think I did a podcast episode about this a while ago, but the difference between timeless photography and trends. And trends are cool to get your engagement up, getting people noticing you in that moment. But when it's gotten to the point where I've literally seen 10 people doing the wet look, 20 people doing the what was it? Another one was the hanging fabric look, where you're hanging in the fabric and the fabric's going like this up in the air. Granted, I did it too, but like after that, it's just like it just starts to get. That's what I mean by like we're rinsing and repeating the same stuff. But now, what makes you stand out as a photographer or a model, if you have creativity, is you take an inspo, whether it's a picture, an idea that somebody did, and then you use that as a base just to get your ideas going, and then you invest and move forward from there, putting your own spin on it.
That's what I like to do. I have a notebook in my house that I keep all of my ideas in, like, because I started this notebook like 2 or 3 years ago. So whenever I got an idea for a photo shoot that I just never seen before, I would write it down in my book. I don't know where that book is right
You gotta start dating those ideas, because then you can be like, I did it first. Here is the dates.
And
right
they're
here.
literally from like 2020.
Yeah,
like they're so
probably
old.
date them. Like put a date on there, because then people can't say that, oh, I copied this from somebody. But honestly, at this point, there's nothing that hasn't
been done
before.
in some way, shape, or form. Like, it's like I said, inspiration comes from everywhere. So taking inspiration is not an issue. It's just the repeated photo shoots that they all look the same. And, just do something creative. Switch it up a little bit. Do something nobody's seen before.
Similarly to that, how do you feel if somebody sees your work and then they do copy it and they get inspired from it or they literally copy it to the T? So like imagine you look on your page tomorrow and somebody had the same I'm gonna paint the picture for y'all. She got black and gold highlighted hair. We have a neutral contour face with some gold highlight eyeliner. We have a dark lipstick. Yeah, I'm gonna paint the picture. We have a top that we constructed from different textures and shades of gold with some distressed blue jeans and gold chains and gold accessories. So if somebody
extra.
Yeah. So if somebody tomorrow like posted the same, literally to the T, same color, same body type and everything, and was like, yeah, this is the shoot we did. We're having so much fun. Would you feel some type of way, or would you just be like, oh, that's great, inspired?
So in a way,
you can give your honest opinion. That's totally fine.
So low key at first, my first thought would be like, what the heck? Like, no originality. But then it would change to like flattered because you took your time out to see my picture and you thought it was good enough to copy. In a way that's kind of like flattering to me. I ain't gonna say it's okay, but if you can't come up with an original design, then I see the vision, but switch it up a little bit, I'm not gonna knock anyone if they see one of my photo shoots that they like and they want to recreate it. I'm not gonna stop them. But copying, that's a little excessive.
Yeah, because I've seen the full spectrum of it, like being inspired and also copying to the T. I've seen whole beef wars go out over this person did this pose first, and next this person's mad because that person gave that person. And I'm just like, it's really not that deep.
No.
Especially like if I don't want to put too much information, make it personal because I don't want to name drop. But anyways, it just all goes down to everybody needs to have something that they put their own spice on.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad if somebody says, hey, this is the reference photo. This is the concept that I want to do. And you start manipulating things. They may use a blue light, you use a red light. Yeah. They might have used denim. We might use leather. You get what I'm saying? Or it's just different stuff like that, like your own style. Like people think being creative means that you have to come something completely from scratch.
And that's not the case.
Yeah, like being creative just means like, instead of this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this out and add this in there.
But I will say the important part about inspiration is there's no issue, but give credit where credit is due. Like, don't just take somebody's idea and then just say or pass it off as your own because, that's lame. Give credit where it's due.
I think that's a bigger issue, personally, with models not crediting photographers because people be like, well, we already did the pictures. They're pictures of me, and why do I have to tag you? It's more so seen when it's like a paid project, and they're like, people don't understand, well, why do I have to tag you? It literally takes nothing out of your day to just type that person's Instagram name and say photos by such and such. That brings them more attention, that brings them more notoriety, and that helps them to get more business. And then vice versa, you being on their page is going to get other photographers to notice you. Like that happens on my page all the time. Like not trying to be cocky or anything like that, but it's because I have built up so much of a network of people that I know, people that I work with, people that trust me and I trust them. So if they see a new face that I work, they already know how I operate. I don't just shoot with just anybody. I'm already checking your page. I'm checking who tagged you. I'm checking like, hey man, did you work with such and such? Oh, okay, cool, bet. And then like, so they already know you're vetted. You're clear. They know you're not on the blacklist. So they're going to be like, oh, okay, Josh shot with her. So maybe I could shoot with her too.
Yeah. And it's better when you see like a model that, working with a photographer that you were like looking at. Cause it's like, ooh, let me ask my friend, how was theirs? Cause maybe they'll want to work with me too. Cause, but that all comes from, you got to credit them,
How you treat people gets you so far. Cause I'm not taking up for anybody, but somebody could just be having a bad day. You don't know what their experience was like. And then that's not a true reflection of their character. Same thing with, you also cannot always just rely on the input of one person because those two people, they might not have just meshed. You never know. Or that person could have been feeling some type of way in that specific moment and caused things to be different. You just don't know. But like if you ask 5 different people that also don't know each other and they're all giving you the same story, okay, now that gives you a better,
because not everybody's telling the same lie.
Like or even if it's good or bad. Like let's say it is a bad thing. Like this photographer is very touchy. He's very sexual and stuff like that. If person A says the story like, yeah, he is. Person B says, yeah, he is. Person C says, yeah, he is. All three of these people are in three different
After
cities.
that second person, that's enough for me to, okay, I've got my answer.
Okay, all right. Same thing with models. Like, okay, person A says that, yeah, she's crazy, bro. Person B says, yeah, she's crazy, bro. Person B says, she's an amazing person. But person 4 says, yeah, she's crazy, bro. The census says that she's crazy. So
Majority rules.
Majority rules, exactly.
Modeling really is my first love. Like, I started off modeling, and from modeling it led to music and acting and social media. So modeling is definitely something I can talk about for days and not get tired of it.
What type of music are you into, or what do you do music wise?
So I am a singer. I don't know if everybody knows me, but if you know me, you probably have seen my boyfriend. He is an artist as well. When we first met, he always said he wanted to make beats for me. So he's made me a couple beats. I usually sing R&B, but lately I've been kind of switching over into like a pop-ish kind of thing. I don't know. It's a new category for me. I've never really done it, but it's fun for me. Not everybody will have that same cup of tea, though. I know a lot of people like to rap, and I can't rap for nothing.
Yo, I got the flow. I got to go to the stove, and you know I got 2 toes. Call me 2-Toe Joe. Here I go. Oh, bo. Yeah, I got bars.
Whoa.
Oh, see, there you go. That's you're the ad lib person.
I can do some ad libs now.
I'd love to be the person in the studio that just puts some ad libs.
Yeah. Boy.
Camera.
I can see that.
Shooting on models. Bottles.
Look at them.
That's all I would do. They get paid, yo.
They do.
Ad people get paid. Like, just to say 5 words every 5 or 6 sentences.
If you need somebody to do your ad libs for you, hit me up.
Shameless plug.
I do all paid work.
All paid work. Not for freezies.
No free
but for
skis.
seriouses.
No free skis out here. I'm just kidding. If I like you enough, I might slide you a little favor.
If you need anybody to review your music, let me know. Because, I do have a degree in music, so I can assist. I have a pretty good ear, I would think.
I can send you my page. I have some at the top of my page. I kind of have to get back into it. I'm starting to slowly, get back into music. Because, like I said, I was always a model who just kind of got introduced to other things. And I've always loved to sing. So it was just kind of a natural switch over, It was crazy because I actually was a model in the guy's music video who originally wanted me to sing a song for him. We sat down and wrote a song together. I was in his music video a couple days prior. And then the next few days he was like, "Can you sing?" I was like, "I can sing." So it just kind of trickled from there, I
tell people all the time I can sing if it's an emergency. I'm not saying that sound bad. I don't like to sing at all. Like when I was in college, I had to take a whole voice class. I hated it, and it was just so bad. Like my final exam was literally one of the worst days when I was in school. I failed my license test for the 5th time. I had to get right up on stage and sing this song Ave Maria in Italian, and I'm just like,
ooh. See,
I'm not gonna sing it right now though.
I started learning jazz at one point.
You sing scat?
No.
That's my sound right. I like the
No, really though. I remember I started learning jazz only to diversify my voice, just because if you listen to jazz, they use every part of their diaphragm in their chest voice. So it was a good way to learn how to actually sing properly and switch in between your chest and your head voice, which is a whole nother different segment. I feel for another day. I do a lot. I do a lot.
And
I
that's
really do.
Good. So I know we got off on a tangent talking about singing, but I just feel like all of the arts are the same. Whether you're a musician, whether you're a painter, whether you're a photographer, a model, all of those things are expressive art forms. And being able to transition and being able to be diverse is going to make you more valuable. I tell people all the time, if you're trying to get more people to work with you, if you're trying to build a network, having a second skill, that's very valuable. So if you're a model, but you're also a hairstylist,
they love that.
If you're a model, but you're also a makeup artist, that is valuable.
This is where you have to talk to people. Networking is a really great tool, because once people figure out that you're not just a model, like you're multifaceted, you become more desirable to people. So the more things you do is really better for your image.
Yeah, and doesn't always have to be within that industry. So like I'll know somebody that can do taxes, but she also models. So we're now exchanging our expertise in modeling photography. But
Service
because service for service,
Yeah.
bartering is so huge. I don't got no money. I'm broke. It's a joke.
Okay, most of us are.
I'm house broke. But guess what? A lot of stuff I get is because I can leverage my skills, whether it's music, whether it's photography, fitness, just talking. I can talk. I know how to talk. So it's like just your value as a person and your skill set. The more versatile you are, the better you're going to be. Model, photographer, hairstylist, makeup artist, all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't really like being talked to any kind of way, but again, like that's a part of the professionalism that we talked about earlier. But other than that, I let a lot of stuff slide off my shoulders. Like, it is what it is. I'm not going to remember it tomorrow. I got a sucky memory anyway. So
like a goldfish.
Literally, the memory of a goldfish is me.
Hey, me too. I walk into the kitchen and I'll be like, oh, I forgot when I walked in. I'm going to walk back in the bedroom. Let me do this again.
By the time you reach the bedroom, then you remember what you wanted.
And
I don't want to go back because now I'm lazy.
Or I'll ask Jasper. I'm like, why I come in here? He just look at me. I'm just like, for those that don't know, Jasper's my dog. But he's not really a dog. He's a person in dog form.
Dogs are people too.
No, he's really a person. Like, if you look at his facial expressions, the way he looks, he'll be like,
no, he be rolling his eyes.
He got a whole attitude.
My dog does
you got
too.
Attitude? Okay, I'm gonna fix that.
He be giving me the meanest side eye. I be like, ooh, you act like you pay bills in this mug.
It's the worst.
Love him to death. We gotta love him.
I definitely think that we covered a lot of topics today. We talked about many different things. So I want to say thank you for coming to do not only the podcast today, but the photo shoot as well. So make sure y'all stay tuned for those pictures, because when they come out, I think y'all are going to really love them. You already know where to find them on my photography page. But other than that, before we get out of here, let people know where they can find you, your information, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up the episode.
All right, you guys, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram, both at _jasmine.nicole. I also have Twitter, which is _. Well, it's not really Twitter anymore. It's X.
Now.
It's going to always be Twitter to me. So _Jas_Nicole. But for the most part, my YouTube will be up soon. That is coming soon. So just keep checking my Instagram or my TikTok. I'll update those. That's about it.
All right. So y'all heard it here first. And you know where to find me on Instagram at ShotNChop, as well as my photography page, Candid_Productions, CANNDID_Productions. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up the episode. So that is in. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. But until next time, peace out.
Give you my loving affection. Baby, boy, trust that I'm ready. Commit to you, be here for you, make it official. Commit to you, be here for you, make it official. Give you my loving affection. Baby, boy, trust that I'm ready. Commit to you, be here for you, make it official. Commit to you, be here for you, make it official.